Hey everyone, let's go ahead and open up our Pegboard Toy assembly. We're going to continue working on that today. We're actually going to make ends for both ends of this pegboard here. So the first thing we need to do with our pegboard assembly is we're going to go up to the component panel, and instead of clicking on place like we have before, we're going to click on create. And when you click on create, it's going to ask us to name our part. We're going to name it end, E-N-D, like a pegboard end. It's got two ends on it. We're also going to make sure that this is checked. Constrain the sketch plane to the selected face or plane, so we want that. Let's go ahead and click OK. Let's also make sure that we save it in the right place. So for new file location, we'll click on that. And we want to click it in our Pegboard Toy. We're going to save it as the end. That's where we want it. Alright, let's go ahead and click OK. And we got to click on a plane to place this new part. And I'm going to click on this front plane right here. And that will create the part on that front plane. Alright, the first thing we have to do, like every other part, is sketch our geometry. So let's click Start 2D Sketch. And we're going to click on the XY plane. I'm going to go over to this side so we can do this side first. Alright, so the sketch says that we have to have a board that's 0.75 inches wide. And the cut for the dado joint is going to be 0.375 inches in. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sketch our rectangle. Now this rectangle is going to be our board. Alright, so the object here is to, we're just making a board. It doesn't really matter how tall it is yet, but we do want to make sure that we put a dimension on here for this to be 0.750. Of course, it's going to move it on me. I'll go ahead and move it back over here. And we should be able to click Project Geometry, and we want to get that box. So go ahead and click on the end, on the front face of the pegboard, so we can get that geometry as well. Now we can dimension from this to here. This we want the cut to be 0.375, and press Enter. That way it spaces out just as much as we need to. Alright, so your sketch should look something like this. And I'm actually going to make my bottom end a little bit longer, a little bit taller there as well. Alright, and then finally we can go ahead and finish the sketch. Now we should be able to extrude just this portion, which is not letting me yet. That's alright. Let's go back to our sketch. So right click and edit your sketch. Looks like we need to cut or trim this line right here. So press X on your keyboard and trim that line. Finish your sketch. Now we should be able to extrude just that portion. Great. Now this is going to be 3 inches as well. So it'll fit on this end. And I'm actually going to go the second direction, so we can go back and meet up with the part. I'm going to click OK. And we're good with that. So let's go ahead and click Save. And we will return to the part. And now we've got this point. All right, it's constrained to the front of the face, which is good, so it's not going to move on us. Now we need to put another one in on this side. All right, so we can go ahead and go to Place. We'll go to our DM file, our Pegboard Toy, and we should have our ends in here. Let's put one more of those in the assembly. And then we're going to constrain this. So to constrain this, we're going to use a lot of mates and some flushes. In total, usually you need 3 different constraints. Alright, so the first one we're going to use is the mate constraint. We're going to mate this end to the inside of this joint right here. So right on in here. We're not going to click the top faces or the bottom face because we want it to go all the way back to this back face back here. So if we click on that, it'll knock it in place, and we'll click Apply. Now if we just leave it at that, it's still going to move around a lot, and we don't really want that. So we have a few more constraints to do. Another constraint that we can do is the flush constraint. So we will flush the side of the end to the front side of the pegboard. So knock those two together, click Apply. And then if we leave it at that, still we can move it up and down. Alright, so I'm going to move it just slightly up so I can get a good view of it. And we're going to mate the top of the pegboard So you can click anywhere on the top of the pegboard. We're going to make that face to the inside top of the end. And that should knock those two together. It doesn't like that for some reason. Do the top of that. To the top here. There we go. And click apply. And that should be it for this part. Alright, we've got our two pegboard ends. Our two pegs are still freely moving, and that's what we want. Now that's our updated assembly, so let's go ahead and save this. Also, if you want to go ahead and color these pegs, you could have done that earlier. Or if you double click the peg, you can actually go into the part file, and then you can change the color of the pegboard ends. Like so. When you return, it should update both sides of it, so you don't have to do both of them. So there you go. We've got a green and blue pegboard toy in the flavor of the Seattle Sounders. So that's pretty much it for right now. So go ahead and save that, and we'll get to the next episode. All right. So when you click save, sometimes this pop-up box will come up. It's just saying it's going to save your individual parts that you have updated since you last saved. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and save all of these. So click OK. That's it. All right. That's all for this episode.